Good morning. Welcome to Cucina Kouzina. This is our 9th episode, and today we're going to be cooking a Rustica Torta, which is basically a meat pie. This is the Italian version. There's a Greek version as well. It's called criotipa, and it's made with filo, lamb, and Greek cheeses. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cook two things simultaneously. So you're going to add your olive oil to one pan and olive oil to another pan. Today I'm using a wok. I didn't realize we didn't have a bigger pan. So what we're going to do is in one of the pans we're going to put our spinach. And the spinach, you're going to chop it, drain it. You can use fresh if you want, but I'm using frozen, and I drained it. And now you're going to put it into the pan, and you are going to cook this until all the water is evaporated. So it's going to be almost dry. So that's in one pan. The second pan, you are going to start with your onions and your peppers. And you're going to cook these until translucent. Now this is going to take a little bit. So you're going to cook your peppers and your onions until translucent, as I said, and your spinach until it's dry. So this is going to take a little bit. So while that's cooking, we are going to make our cheese mixture with the ricotta, basil, and cheeses. So you have mozzarella in here, you have all grated, and hearty. Now you can use fontina cheeses, you can use any cheese you want, and ricotta. And I'm going to leave a little bit to the side because we're going to layer this into the torte. So I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to be adding any salt because you're going to get a lot of salt from the meats, because we have Italian sweet sausage, Italian spicy sausage, we have prosciutto, we have mortadella. So when you have all of those different types of meats, they already have a pretty hefty salt content. So you don't want to over salt your food. Usually everybody says to salt the food, but in this case you don't. And to this we're going to add 1 beaten egg, make sure you mix it well so there isn't a lot of marbleization. Okay. Now what you're going to also do is when you start cooking, preheat your oven to 400 degrees for the torta. So this is going to take a little bit of time to cook. So we'll be back, and when you'll see it all nice and dry and translucent, and we'll start the process all over again. Now that the peppers and the onions are of a translucent consistency and the spinach is almost dry, I've placed the mild sausage, Italian sausage, and the spicy sausage. Now I've removed the casings and I put them in a plastic bag, and then I crush it like this. It's much neater and you don't have to get your hands dirty. So you put that. Now, if you want to use a milder sausage, if you're a vegetarian, you can substitute the sausage with eggplant. Don't forget to put the Italian spices in, because the sausage has spices incorporated. So if you're going to use a vegetarian recipe with the eggplant, and then also substitute the mushrooms that I'm going to be putting in there with portobello mushrooms, which kind of taste like meat, and with a little bit of wine. So you could saute it that way if that's what you prefer. So we're going to saute the meat mixture, and you want to brown the meat. I'm going to take this. So you want to brown that meat. You have to cook it very well, even though it's going to be in the oven. You still want to cook your meat. And as you see, I'm not putting any salt or pepper in there, because the sausage mixtures has fennel, has a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper in it already. So the fact that you put your meat into the pan is going to bring the temperature down a little bit. So it's going to take a little bit of time to cook. You want that meat nice and brown. Now for the mushrooms, I'm just using, just for the sake of time, instead of fresh mushrooms, which takes a little bit of time to cook. And if you're going to use fresh mushrooms, put them in when you put the onions and the peppers in. The red peppers, I use red peppers. If you want to use green peppers, use green peppers. But I'm using the canned mushrooms just for the sake of time. And I'm going to do that later. Now we're going to have to let this cook a little bit. As you noticed, I took the spinach off the heat. So I'm going to cook this. It's going to take about, depending on your stove, a few minutes. So now the meat is cooked. So now what we're going to do, and I don't know if I told you, but today I'm using a chicken sausage just to cut down on the fat. And as always, we always use organic ingredients when we can. So to this mixture, we're going to add the prosciutto. And this is going to cook very quickly. If you don't like prosciutto, it is salty. But if you don't like it, you can use your favorite bacon. So we're going to add that, cook that through. I use uncured meats because they don't have the nitrates in them, and they're not from the deli counter. They're packaged and they come from Italy. So we've had a couple of issues with listeria with the deli meats, so I don't use those. I would stay away from them for right now. So the same thing with the mortadella. That's a packaged meat from Italy. So to that, to the prosciutto, I'm going to add the garlic. Stir that up a little bit until it's fragrant. Like I've said before in other episodes, don't burn the garlic. Then I have some sun-dried tomatoes packed in olive oil. Add that to the mixture. And then I have a couple of tablespoons of chilies packed in oil from Calabria. These are very fragrant. So keep cooking until the prosciutto is going to cook pretty quickly, so don't worry about it. So then I'm adding canned mushrooms. Again, if you're using fresh, you're going to have to cook them when you put the onions and the peppers in the first. Well, you put the onions and the peppers, and then you put the mushrooms in. And then you have to make sure that all the moisture is absorbed. But for the sake of time, we're using the canned mushrooms. Drained, of course. Because we're going to put this in a pie crust, so you want to make sure all the ingredients are as dry as possible, because you don't want a soggy bottom and you don't want a soggy crust. You want it to maintain its integrity. So you're going to heat this through. I can't even see the prosciutto. It's already been incorporated. Okay, so now what you're going to do is add your spinach that you've cooked in a separate pan with all the moisture removed or evaporated. You're going to mix that up. Let that heat through. Okay, you're going to take the heat off, and in the meantime, you're going to prepare a springform pan with brush it with a little bit of olive oil. The bottoms and the side, non-stick, non-PFOA, otherwise non-Teflon pan. And then, now I'm using a ready-made pie crust, but you want to have the bottom part a little bit larger. So I use the second layer to make it a little bit bigger. I put it on a floured surface and rolled it out to about 16 inches. So what you're going to do is put you're going to roll out the pie crust for the bottom, and you're going to make sure that you let it hang a little bit over the edge. Like so. Okay, so now we're going to come back and we will assemble the torta. Okay, so now we're going to start to assemble the torta. So what you're going to do is put the mortadella on the bottom. Okay, so you have the mortadella. You're going to put the meat mixture in. And you're going to layer this. This is going to be like a lasagna. You layer it like a lasagna. So you're going to put that in. So this is half of the meat mixture. So you make sure that it's packed in there. So next we're going to start with the cheese mixture. So put that in there. Now it looks like I have extra cheese, so I am not going to use it all. So you can use your mozzarella, and in this case the hearty blend, for any other dish that you have. Now you want to pack this in here. I washed my hands thoroughly before I did this, so make sure you do that. And then you're going to end with the last bit of the meat mixture. Now if you have a little bit of meat mixture left over, you can have it for lunch. Just made it. Because you want to end with the last part of the meat mixture. Okay. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so now we have to put the top on, and I use the decorative dowel, and you can't see it on the camera, but it makes a nice little decoration on the top. So what you want to do, some extra, so you want to pinch it around. So you want to seal those edges. And then you're going to use one beaten egg with a little bit of water for your egg wash. And again, this is very good for a picnic or a barbecue. And then put 2 1/2-inch slits for venting, and put it into a 400-degree oven for about 60 minutes. And then we'll show you the finished product in a few minutes. Okay, so we are back. This is the finished product, as you can see, and you can serve this either hot or room temperature. And as I said before, this is a very good picnic or barbecue dish that you can bring. I like to also serve this with a limoncello spritz, where it's just limoncello, mineral water. I use a citrus mineral water, ice. Can make little decorative ice cubes, and then you top it off with a little Prosecco. And that's great for your guests. If you want to serve it also with a little Caesar salad, which is basically lettuce, any kind you want, usually it's iceberg, Parmesan, a little bit of pepper, Caesar salad dressing, your favorite, whatever. I like the Primal Kitchen with avocado oil. And then if you like anchovies, I like anchovies, and just put anchovies in your salad. So you have a salad, you have a Rustica Torta, and you have your a limoncello spritz. And thank you for joining us today. We look forward to more for you to tune into more episodes. If you want this recipe, please email me at the email address below, and I will send you the completed recipe. Thank you, and buon appetito!